This is a spring, and it's not for the palms, but I do believe Palm Springs has been using it. Missing hands, anyone? Here's a Pacifica link, and also to Michael Beckley and a oral and facial surgery center. Using a Pacific label, it's like Pacific Catch, but I know it's for Pacifica Skyline. What's this? Oh, this is a real steel comb. 1 second. Oh, yeah? I don't know where the registration building is. I don't take classes here. Yeah. I don't teach either. I am here at Las Positas in Livermore College. The reason why I came here is because of College Avenue in Santa Rosa, and because of Livermore, and because of what I saw earlier at Walmart. Anyway, San Francisco Stories. Jack Kerouac, Anne Lamont, Amy Tan, Randy Schultz, Tom Wolfe, Dylan Thomas, Ishmael Reed, that's R-E-E-D, and John Miller, edited by John Miller. Here's American Prison here. That's by Shane Bauer, okay? Kind of like my old Benjamin Bubb school teacher, but this one's Bauer, and it's also Bauer because of the Senior Center in Clear Lake. So just wanted to point that out. Senior Center in Clear Lake. Not really a school, but fortunately we got mixed up with that, so it is what it is. Yeah, yesterday I was watching a series and it had Jane Fonda in it, and it had this other girl who was in 9 to 5 with Dolly Parton. That was pretty good. I enjoyed that. It also had Martin Sheen in it, and it had this guy who was in like Law and Order. He's really good. And you know who he reminds me of? A couple of people. My grandmother's one of them, and then the other person was Chester Bennington, a little bit. It's weird. But yeah, I wonder if they've been getting the memo about kind of what my hopes are here for, like, you know, kind of like repairing relationships and, well, trying not to kill, you know, Abel. Cain and Abel, you know, back to Cain and Abel. You know, it's like, I'm not trying to enable you. No, I'm just trying to prevent Abel from dying. You know, basically. I don't normally dress like this, but I needed like a catch-all situation. So it is what it is. Here, some hollyhocks. Look, it's by the root. I got it right under the bridge next to Chick-fil-A, by the way, which is where I think Philomena got her name. And then, yeah, I mean, that is a really loaded area right there. And the fact that she has that name, and then with the conch in there, I know that's my mom's conch. So, because I brought it over to that place over by Vacaville and dropped it there in the field, right across from this place where I added some scope, because it was not for periscope, it was for gargoyles. It was for gargling. It was a mouthwash, actually. So it was not a periscope link. It was something you put up to your mouth. So, and you know, speaking of putting something up to her mouth, I mean, it's like she went and took that as like a invitation to just talk for me, when I was trying to actually get people to hear what I had to say, and it was really important, and it was about George Floyd. And it was about Rodney King, and it was about all kinds of different things, and about Lake County, and just all kinds of stuff. And it was so upsetting. And then it just like got pillaged. And I see now why, because right across from from Chick-fil-A, there is an altar to a man by the name of Michael. It's like Michael Sadir anyway. That is an altar for a guy who looks exactly like Jonathan. So I know it has a lot to do with the way people's faces are. So it has to do with their names and also the look of their face. And earlier when I was at Walmart, I saw a woman that looked almost identical to Win Carey. That's Win Carey, Carey. And she came in right after me and was right behind me in line when I was getting these, just to try and swoop in there. So I know she's with Philomena Conk, you know, and with like whoever Philomena Conk is linked with. So that's what that is. And she doesn't look very good. She looks like Win Carey looks like she's going through a really hard time, like health wise, like especially around her neck and stuff. And and then the other lady looked really gross too. But and when I say gross, I mean like it looks really weird and unnatural and not sexy one like at all. So now I know where that comes from. It's gross. I can see why they'd be motivated. But you know what? I really can't fucking stand people just eating up my mom like this. This is fucked up.